welcome to the Team Catch and Release sort of social video, for want of a better word, down on the mighty man, the Bearslake. So we've been lucky enough to be invited down by the bear, obviously, to come fish on his lake. All the team are going to be joining us later. So you've got Lee Power, John the Fireman, Mikey Quinn and his mate Jay, who we've obviously seen on some videos before, Lee Carp Blog and Flower, who we've also seen before down at the Essex Social. What we're going to do very quickly is just run through Bear, go through the lake, what sort of we to expect for the next couple of days, the fish and the lake itself, mate. So give us a bit of a rundown on the lake.
Well, it's just under 6 acres, 12 to 14 foot through the middle. It's nice deep margins for nice small margin fishing. If you, I personally chuck them down the margins.
Crystal clear.
It is at the minute, yeah, crystal clear. It's not an easy lake, never has been. Really, personally, if you get 10 fish a year out of it, I think you're doing really well. But the fish are absolutely stunning. Anything over 16, really, you're not going to be disappointed. That's it.
So we've seen the pictures before. You've seen from Bear, obviously. You said just last week you had another good lump out of 24-pounder.
Yeah, 24-10 mirror. Yeah, it was Friday morning.
Yeah, I said they're really pretty fish, really dark. But as I said, we're not trying to kid ourselves when we come here. We know it's a hard lake, but it's more about getting up to see, obviously, Bear and his mighty establishment. I said, because we've been together now sort of a couple of months as the newly formed team, as you well know. But I say we're going to film some rigs and hopefully have some fish on the bank. But I say it's a 1 or 2 fish couple of days, you reckon?
Yeah, I think for the amount of anglers on, if we get 2, 3, maybe more out, I think we'll be doing really well.
Yeah, so it's not very pressured water, so maybe pressure. But I mean,
no, it can switch off with a lot of pressure. But then again, what lake don't?
Exactly, mate. So I say what we're going to do now is we'll keep you up to date on all the catches, obviously, and all the sort of fish that we have. Do some rigs, we'll do some swim selection choices and show you some baiting. So until later, we'll catch you later, innit, mate?
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Team Catch and Release.
If nothing else shows fish safety and the care that Team Catch and Release will go to, John the Fireman, I don't know if you can see him through the bushes, but there's actually a snag that's fallen down into the lake there, which could obviously be a bit of a fish hazard for tethering fish up. So John courageously steps into his Bear Grylls style boxer pants and is going to make the epic walk across. But I say it's all about fish safety. It's not something for the camera to prove a point at all. But what I say, this is fallen into water. It's not a known snag there. So go in, cut it out just in case, because he is fishing in quite an intricate little bay, which I'll show you later. As you can see, it's all close work, so that could present a hazard to the fish, and so therefore, with permission of God, I'm going to get that out and say stop anyone else who comes in behind casting over it accidentally, etc. So it's fish safety forever.
Good morning, world. It's 5 in the morning. It's just starting to get light, and I've got a very, very nice mirror in the retention sling. John's just getting the camera gear together and we'll have a proper look at him. I have weighed it. It was 22.1, but it's a real dark mirror with some scattered scales, beautiful fish, and that come off the margin rod that I've shown you yesterday, that went out with the bottom bait stiff hinge rig, the little bag of dust and the little stringer. So nice little presentation, a few boilies round it. They certainly do like the margin. I've got the margins baited up, and there's fish in there. I've heard them rolling about this morning. I'm not fishing it as yet. What I'll do is I'll get a bit more bait out there once it's light, and I'll drop my left hand rod onto that margin. I'll fish both margins tomorrow night, because that seems to be what's doing the damage. A fish did show over in one of my open water spots just as I landed the fish, so all looks good for a few more. But yeah, just wait for the sun to come up. So it's just getting light now. Obviously I don't like it in my bivvy, but John's just getting the gear together, and hopefully in the next 15 minutes we'll have him on the bank and have a proper look. So happy days. Okay, so about half an hour ago I was awoken by this off the margin rod. Absolutely tore off. Nice way to start. What a creature. See the other side? £22, 1 ounce. A couple of good charges during the fight, but other than that, it were well behaved, like it is being now. Awesome. Here we are, guys. John the fireman here. Just thought I'd show you my swim. It's right at the end of the lake, nice little corner. It's pretty much all margin work. I haven't got access to any open water really. I've cleared a branch, and I got one rod right up there against that tree and against those reeds that you can see. Probably a kilo and a half of bait, clawberry. I've also put in probably half a bucket of particle mix in underneath this tree, with a few boilies on top of that, and then just in here to the right hand side, same again, half a bucket of particle mix, maples, corn, maize, things like that. And that was the plan anyway for 2 nights. Unfortunately, no fish showed, no bubbling, no takes, no liners, nothing, which is upsetting. Hence now, not my swim. I've gone for a move. This, boys and girls, is the new swim. A fair bit more water to play with, as you can see. The lad who was in here before wasn't actually a member of Team Catch and Release, but he's a syndicate member on the lake. I think he put about 4 kilo of bait smack bang in the middle, and he'd had 2 runs. Lost one, happened to be a catfish, and he landed a nice carp. But I moved in, and I'm here for the last night session. The only action that we've seen has all been from the middle of the lake, so I've been sprinkling a few extra boilies on there, and 2 on bottom baits with nice bags of chopped and crumb boilie in it, and I've also put a chod with a white pop-up on there, 1.5 ounce lead. And I'm planning it's going to be the roaming lead, or the roaming rig rather, for any fish throughout the evening, any shows or anything like that. But feeling a little bit more confident. I got more water to play with, which is one thing. I'm fairly certain they weren't down the end, so this can only be a good move. Okay, so I'm on location at Bearslake. We just found some wildlife in one of the trees. I'm not sure if it is a bear, Definitely a member of the ape family. I've never wanted a branch to snap so much in all my life. I better get back in my bivvy before he sees me.
Well, and so joined you by the man of the moment, Mr. Power. I say we're on the second day down at Bearslake. It looked absolutely carpy overnight. Everyone was betting whose rod was going to go. Lee even bet off someone else's rod, but first thing in the morning, off goes the rod. I said Lee's going to take you through all the rigs, how he caught the fish, and the sort of tactics.
Okay, well, firstly it was my right hand rod. I had it on a zig for most of yesterday, and then decided to put it on the bottom through the night, and mainly for the first light. Most carp like margins in the mornings, they're notorious for it here as well.
Yeah, deep margins.
So yeah, one in the margin, and it was that rod that went off. Charged about a bit at first, but coming pretty much without any drama. And yeah, cracking fish.
Yeah, stunner. Let's say, go through the rig then bit by bit and how you sort of baited it for its temptation.
Okay, well, this is my margin rig. It's the most inconspicuous rig I can come to, but mechanically one of the best rigs I've played around with. So it's a stiff hinge rig, bottom bait. Just use some bristle filament, some stiff high memory nylon, curved section there. The hook is a continental. I don't like the choddy hooks because they've got an in-turn point, and I'm a bit paranoid of that skating over the bottom lip.
That sort of curves, creates a whole curve, doesn't it?
Okay, so there's a long whip D as well there, which gives the bait a lot of movement, and I think on hooking the fish, when it blows the bait out, that actually aids in the hooking of the lip. Also it makes it a little bit more difficult for the fish to suck the bait back in to try and lose the hook. So that's the rig. As it sits flat on the floor like that, I'll come to this in a minute. With it having a natural curve there, and it being at a 90-degree angle from the boom, which the PVA aids in doing so, it's at its most efficient. So any which way that this is picked up by the fish and sucked in, this hook is just...
Yeah, it's going to loose it, yeah.
It's almost pulling back down into the bottom lip as it's taken in. And obviously with the stiff boom, you're in connection with the ledge straight away as well. So obviously it's it's the best of both worlds. With regards to the PVA setup, I've just got a little PVA mesh bag there, with some boilie crumb. I've looped some quick melt tape through it and pulled it over. So I've got two tails, which I've got the stringer on. And then you can do this on all stiff hinge rigs. This one is a loop to loop. Just as it's a margin rig, I've tried to remove as much metal wear as I can. So just with a PVA nugget through the loop. And then simply thread it down. That PVA nugget will stop it. You can cast this out quite far. The PVA nugget will stop the bag coming off the boom and affecting the curve of the chod section that's still loose. And then quite simply put that back into the bag, and that's good to go. Nice. It's important to pick the clip and feel it down on a tight line so it is laid out. And from tank testing, because this is a critically balanced bottom bait and a pop-up, it naturally falls on top, and then it will just drop to the side and you're left with...
Nice. I say it's what was needed to sort of winkle out the carp. They've been elusive for the first day, but I say once the weather dropped and the sort of temperatures dropped as well, it's fantastic. And so you see the pictures now coming up. I mean, an absolute really dark warrior. And
give you a bit of a kick in.
But,
it put a smile on my face when I seen it.
That's it. So I mean, Team Catch and Release on it, and I said hopefully we'll have a few more out later on, and some more rigs and bits to show you later. Until later, catch you later.
We go 19.4 on the monster crab topped off with a pink popple, just over on the far margin. Team Catch and Release, we're off on the mark.
Get in there, Team Catch.
And here we are, guys, in another swim with a different angler. Old Mikey Quinn's been doing the magic. I say, we'll go through his bait. I say we all know that he's on the Viking baits, know the owner and creator of Viking baits. But what he's going to go through is sort of the rig he had him on and how he fished for the fish. And then we'll show you some pictures later on. Mikey Q.
Cheers, John. Well, got here on what day was it? Sunday. We arrived about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We were already on the pegs down the road, but we come here because behind us is a big long bank with no swims on there, so it looked like an obvious patrol route for him. So first come, put a 3 kilo of monster crab and just decided to sit it out. No fish, couple of bleeps, that was all through the first 2 days virtually. And then this morning, the right hand rod was topped off with a pink pop-up, rode off with a bream.
Yes.
Bit of a roar though, got a bit excited, but no sooner did we unhook that, the left hand rod whipped away. 19.4 was it? 19.4 mirror. Lovely old dark fish as well. As you know, I'm running Viking baits at the minute. I took it on because I got made redundant from work, so I've been unfortunate, but I decided to set up something I've got a passion for, which is carp fishing. There's 3 boilies I'm doing at the minute, the full range of pop-ups, glugs, and hopefully matching pellets will be out throughout the winter and then into the spring. So some good things to look forward to. I just want to, again, I've done a blog on this stuff earlier in the year, the Vardis downfall leader. I've used all the other types of leaders, leg core, everything, and this stuff. It's unleaded, it's just a typical braid leader, but it's so subtle. I've not had one go on me at all yet through the knotting or anything, but just be careful how you use it. Don't be putting rings or anything to stop any tubing or anything come over there, your general fish care. But yeah, it's working very well. I'm really confident of another fish. There's been a couple rolling over there, but
It's starting to happen, isn't it?
only time will tell, won't it?
We're with Sean, one of the lake members, and with a very special catcher. Why is it such a special one, Sean Boy?
It's my first one over 20 at this lake. I've had 3 19s up to now, but it's my first one to break the 20-pound barrier.
This is another stunning slate grey from Bearslake. Hopefully more on the cards for the last 24 hours for the rest of the team. Well, mate, top that rod in. Catch you later.
Well, here we are, end of the session, packing up. Well, we'll be shortly to go home, and sad to say I've been defeated. I've tried single hook baits, beds of baits, beds of boilie, beds of particle, red, yellow, pink, white pop-ups, all sorts of different rigs, stiffed hinge, supple rigs, chod rigs, but no, nothing. 1 or 2 knocks in the night, which was more than I had down the far end, which was nice, but that was it, literally knocks. Possibly liners, but no fish to show for you, which is a shame. But if you told me at the start of this session, when we'd all turned up a few days ago, that we'd have 3 fish on the bank, I would have been dead happy with that for the team, and I think it would have been a right result, which it is. Sadly, nothing for myself. A couple of us are blanked, but that's what fishing is all about. You wouldn't be fishing if you didn't blank every now and then, and that's how you learn stuff. So I'm off now, back home, keep the missus happy for a couple of days, and then I'm off for what is going to be 2 weeks fishing on Churchwood Lake, and hopefully you'll see a bit of a blog, probably a written one or a small review for myself on that. But otherwise, till next time, catch you later, Team Catch and Release.
Well, quick roundup from me then. How I got a bither just there, I'll never know, but just the rod's out. Just about to start winding in now, so it's been a good few days, good social, nice to fish alongside the rest of the team. Bear was kind enough to let us put a 4th rod out last night for the cats, which didn't come to anything. So everything else is in the car. Just going to wind in now, and I'll see you next time.
Right then, well that's it. Cars are packed, the scenes of devastation all over the lake with bivvies and everything everywhere. But I say some of the boys have already shot off. We'll do a quick close to camera. Lee, what do you reckon, mate? Give us a rundown.
Yeah, I think we've all tried pretty much everything between us.
Yeah.
Nothing's really stood out as a tactic of you know, winning class or anything. So yeah, it's been hard going really, but I've had a fish, so.
Happy man. Yeah. John, what do you reckon to the lake, mate?
Yeah, lovely lake. Love to come back again, to be honest with you. Just with slightly better conditions. Obviously you can't pick your weather when you go fishing, you just go when you can. But yeah, would like to come back again. Like I say, we couldn't have tried any harder really, to be honest. We were as a group all trying different stuff. There's nothing else we could have done really.
That's it. It looks like we are coming back. It looks like it's going to be an annual event with the Bear. So a big one of them for the Bear, and hopefully we'll catch you later soon with a cheeky little vlog from another location. And I said all the team will be doing what they do best, which is hopefully catching some carp. So until later, catch you later, Team Catch and Release.